my binding on, and I went back to the ironing board and opened up my seams. But put your binding on the back of the quilt because I'm not hand stitching. Sorry, knocking y'all around. I'm not hand stitching that. I am going to machine. As you can see, it's on the machine. But anyway, if you was hand stitching it, you would put it on the front. So I got my binding, and it's all nice and crispy and everything. And this is so exciting because this is at the very end of your quilt. So we're gonna get started here, and I'm on slow motion here. But anyway, it's gonna have to be slow anyway. But I'll show you where I put my. Can you see where I got my binding? It's in. I just stuck it up under the foot of my table, and I'll just pull a little bit out as I need it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you know, you can lay it on the machine, but it's gonna probably roll off. But anyway, here we go. And don't let your quilt drag. You're gonna have to stop and pull it up unless you got a table. I don't have a real good table here, so I'm working with what I got. And don't put your finger on the needle like that. It was just a reminder, just reminded me not to do that again. But anyway, you're gonna make sure you keep your raw edge to your raw edge. Raw edge on your binding, raw edge on your quilt. Keep it all up here on your machine as much as you can. This is really not too bad right here. When you get here, you get excited because you know you're through with your quilt. And I'm gonna fight with my quilt some, so y'all forgive me. But believe me, I'm gonna win this battle. I am definitely gonna win it. And you just get it up here. Try to keep it consistent. I was gonna show y'all what I did with my seams when I put this binding together. Haven't got to a part of the seam yet. But anyway, this quilt turned out to be 57 and across and 70 length. Long waist length on the length of it. This probably will work a lot better when I get to those humps right there. If I had a I'm coming up to a part. I'm going to show y'all my stitches. I went over back to the ironing board and opened them up because you want everything to be nice and flat when you get to this point on your quilt. You know, you spend that much time on a quilt, you know, make sure your binding is nice and neat, you know. Like I said earlier, when you can connect them, butt them up and connect them, I'll tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get a it's going to be bulky. But see, I opened up my seams right there. And this lays down so nice and pretty. Yes, it does. Nice and pretty. And I just ironed it back down, you know. Open them up, iron them down. You don't want a whole lot of bulk on you. Now see, this is working out just fine. I'm not chasing my binding around the floor. Down on the floor looking for it. When I come to this end, I'm going to show you how I do mine. I see something flashing at the corner of my eye. I hope everything's okay, because the camera's on that side. Alright, I'm going to come here. I'm just going to kind of slow down. Supposed to be a fourth of an inch for the seam allowance, but it may be a little bit more. And I just slide it over Just slide it over. Slide it over there. And sew off on the end. Then you bring it back. You can cut that thread. I cut mine. It just, I hate wrestling with anything. You cut it, and you're gonna go figures. Now you're gonna bring it back up here, and you're gonna fold it. See how you got your little, see my little V there, kind of like a V. And then I'm gonna bring it back up here. I'm gonna make sure that the top is even. Yeah, make sure it's even from the, I always have a problem with getting mine correctly sometimes. But you want to get that in, you want to get it, see that's crooked right there? And I always do that for whatever reason. It's probably, takes me a minute to get mine completely straight. I'm not a professional by a long shot. Don't pretend to be. But you want to have a nice monocone, nice as you can get it. And that look better to y'all? That look better to me. And then you want to make sure you put it back down. Give a little bit more there. Let's just get that. They used to turn out pretty good, but I don't know. I don't trust it myself. And I know if I do the little bend there, stick my finger under there. All right, then we're gonna come back, slide it back under the foot. I'm probably not the best one to show you how to do mine. This corner, so look, it just slid right out the way. Okay, bring it up, bring it down. If I leave it down on the machine, I may can get it. But I was just trying to show you all that don't know how to do it. But make sure it's all square at the top here. Which is all square now, as long as I leave it alone. And put your needle back down. And come down, start down. Let's see what's going on there. Okay. Let's go. Alright, there it goes. Just trying to make it through all them layers. Then come on down. Zoom down. Zoom down. Keep it going. But that's how you do the modest corners. And I'm going to keep it going, and I'll come back and I'll show you guys how to cut it off. My scripts are 2.5. You overlap it 2.5 inches and cut it off, and you come back and sew it together just like you sewed it together at the beginning. But all right. I'm gonna get this on. Let me show you one more corner. And I started on my long end first. So like I say, this is 70 down. I probably should have, if I was gonna show you, I probably should have did that. But I'm just used to doing the side first. Gotta keep up with my foot. Where is it going? And where is it turned? Thing turned to the side and everywhere. That's why I can't get it to go. There we go. Thing all over the place. Just all. Now see, you could have cut that off, but what does it matter? Because when you fold it back, it's just gonna be up under there. It's gonna be locked in there anyway. You will never see it. Never, 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 never see it. And this is putting the binding on. guess I'm almost at this other end. I'll show you one more time. How to do one more end. Like I say, you can go on YouTube and find people that. And I know earlier when I was making this binding, I bet you some of the seasonal quilters is hollering, Sarah, you need to change your thread. I changed my thread to the color of the binding. So make sure you change your thread. But I did not. So we're going up here. We're going to stop approximately 1/4 of an inch. You don't have to. I mean, you get it pretty close and then just kind of slide it around. Slide it around and come off the end. Come off that tip. There we go. And like I say, I cut mine. And, oops, sorry about that. I caught y'all. I'm going to flip this back around. And as you can see, this is my corner. And I'm going to bring it up. Bring it up. Make it even. I did it better. I did it better. No, I didn't. I'm way over here. Okay. Bring it up. It's your quilt. Fool it as long as you have to get it right. And make it square. When you get to doing this quite often, you'll be better at it. One day I'll be better at it too. But that looks good to me, so we're gonna go with it. We'll be able to tell when I get ready to flip it over, won't we? We're like, girl, what did you do? Girl, what did you do to it? But I think it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. All right. So we're going to head down this. You know, that's a little bit thick, so it's going to take, you're going to have to wait on it a little bit. Just take your time so you don't break a needle or something. If you got a walking, I guess that's what they call it. Okay, I'll be back and after I get this on and let you see it. Hold on, baby. Okay, I'm at my cutting table. I'm going to show you how. This is my 2.5 inch little block. And my binding was cut to 2.5. So you want to overlap it. The key is to overlap it. That's my end right there. So I want to overlap my binding at 2.5 inches. So, that would be, there we go. You can kind of put it up like that a little bit so you can see the other end. So that's my 2.5 inches. I'm going to allow myself just a hair. You need to do this with your, you need to do this because you just need to do it. I mean, if you're not experienced at it. So we're gonna move that. You're right there, so I'm kind of at an angle. Trying to work around my camera here. So we're gonna clip it right there. All right, that's a little bit over 2.5. So just a hair over, so that's okay. But that is the key. I'm just making sure I get it even. And this is my binding that I have left. Don't worry about having binding left over. You will use it. And then we're going to go back to the sewing machine. And we're going to do what we did at the beginning. We're going to open it up. And we're going to lay it across. Just a little bit. And before we cut it off, we're going to test it. And I'll show you that when we get back to the machine.